about our roots and find out things that happen in NCNW. So we're going to start with the conversation. Mrs. James, tell us about how long you have been a member of the National Council of Negro Women.
President Keith, and to everybody that's here today, I just first want to thank you for being here. I have 2 daughters here and 2 sons, and all the rest of you. I want to let you know that I really do appreciate it. I was telling somebody, I feel like I'm 2 years old. I've been told everything to do, I'm sitting here and do that. Anyway, I just want to thank God that the president of the chair, I just used to saying chair. Chair Keith was at my house last night for dinner. That was a real treat for me. And I just want to thank Patricia Daniels, one of my best friends and one of my oldest members that have traveled with me to the NCNW convention and everywhere else I've tried to go. And also the president of the region, Northern California region, Donna Moore. Thank you, Donna, for being here. And also thank you to the president of the Southern California region. Thank you all, these 4 people who came up from Southern California. That's a real treat for me. I started with NCNW in 1966. You know the saying that when somebody very bad died, I saw the Lord. When I married Brother James, and I met Leo Moore, joined the Avenue Church, and became a member of National Council of Negro Women the same year. It has been a pleasure. It's been a journey that I have traveled for all these years, and I've enjoyed every step of it. When I first joined NCNW, the first thing that Leo Moore told me, you've got to become a life member. Okay, so at that time I didn't know what a life member meant, but I did become a life member eventually. But the main thing that was going on at that time was putting Ma in the park. That is the statue of McLeod-Bethune in Lincoln Park. We were saving pennies to do that, collecting pennies to put Ma in the park. And I have to say that I was there to see the unveiling of McLeod-Bethune in Lincoln Park. That was a great sensation. We were so excited we walked all the way back to the Capitol. At the time, Abe Lincoln was facing the Capitol, and every statue was facing the Capitol. But when Dr. Hyde was put on the other end of the park, they had to turn his statue around to face Bethune. So they faced each other. One went in the park and one on the other. And I would encourage all of you, whenever you go to Washington, be sure and go to that park. There was some time when it was not listed in the events you can see as you travel to Washington, but now it's listed. And you can get on a bus and wherever they have the transportation, they'll take you to the park. That was the most marvelous time. Everybody was so excited. The following year, I was fortunate to be at the Bethune College. Dr. Hyde had been to Mexico to attend the first women's convention. And so she came to Bethune College and brought women from Africa with her. We stayed there for several days meeting with these African women. They had interpreters with them. They had high-standing women there. At one occasion, somebody came back and said, this woman has stolen something from a store. And everybody, of course, was really disturbed. But then the manager of the store came and spoke to us and said, well, it really was a mistake that we made. She had an interpreter with her, but whoever accused her didn't understand. He said, I'm sure, since all of you are Christians, that you will forgive us. The woman that was accused said, I'm not a Christian, I'm Muslim. Working with, no, he wasn't there. Somebody he worked with was there, and they were concerned about how she would look when she got off the plane. But they said she was not disturbed at all. So the country felt good, and we did too, because that happened. And I tell you, Dr. Hyde has been a person in my life from then on. She's always been, let me tell you this though. Before we left the Bethune College, we got a chance to visit Mrs. Bethune's house, original house. They had her slippers still at her bed. We said, you know, they keep letting people tour this house, those slippers are not gonna stay. And of course they did. And then we toured where she had been buried. And it was just a great, great event for us to be there. I don't know where you want me to stop.
You don't have to stop, because guess what? You told us so much, and I was just all into your story because you were telling me things I've never heard before. And that's the whole idea. We wanted to hear you and to get little nuggets from things that have happened in your life and things that you can tell us about. And of course, this is being recorded so that we can have an oral history of what has happened in NCNW. And this is wonderful, Mrs. James. We really appreciate this. So you joined NCNW because someone encouraged you to do that. And that was truly a blessing. And just think, had that person not encouraged you to join NCNW, we wouldn't be sitting here today. So we are really grateful for that person. Listen, tell us something about the early days of NCNW. NCNW was founded in 1935 and you joined in 1966, so it had not been in existence a whole lot of years, several years of course, many years of course. But tell us something about the early days of the National Council of Negro Women.
I believe the early days of NCNW involved the San Francisco section, East Oakland Hayward section, East Bay section, and I believe that the label section had also started in the early days. I don't know about the other sections, Sacramento section, but we started working very seriously about, according to what the theme is, women and their families. We were concerned about women and their families. What is happening in our communities? We were very concerned because we didn't know to reach out farther than our own community, so that's where we were. So when Dr. Hyde got a grant to do the program working with girls ages 7 to 14, I think it was. It was a program that prevented the girls from going to prison, and they had to come to the program or either go to jail. So when we were in Washington, I asked Dr. Hyde, could we have that program in Oakland? She said, yes, I don't see why you couldn't. So sure enough, Dr. Hyde came out here. She and Miss Sykes was gone a long time ago, but the two of them traveled together. And we had selected applications. We needed 4 people to run the program. Dr. Hyde came out and sat and interviewed those 4 people. The place we were in at the time was in South Berkeley. Dr. Hyde said, I don't think I like this community in South Berkeley. We need to go to another place. So my husband and I were thinking about buying a house on 62nd Street in Oakland. So we took Dr. Hyde to see this house, and she climbed the stairs, walked in and sat down. She said, I love this house. And we bought the house. We brought the program there. They paid us $50 a month rent, as long as we were being funded. After the funding gave out, we didn't charge anything, but the program still stayed there. Dr. Hyde would come. There were people who where at UC Berkeley, students would come to work with the girls. Anita, Adesanya came, and then there was Fanny Jeffrey, who spent many years working there with those girls. We even had boys to come. And some of the girls said, you know, when I first came here, I had a bad attitude. But it has changed after these young women come and telling us how we should live. Each one of us adopted a girl. So the girl that I adopted complained about her mother. She said, I don't know why my mom don't give me more attention. She gives more attention to those white kids that she's taking care of than she does to me. Well, she didn't understand, you know, that the mother had to make money to take care of her. So we did things together and took her to shows and tried to talk to her. We don't know how the girls ended up, but what we do know is that the girls, when we were ready to go home in the evening, we had to make sure there were no girls hiding in the basement. They didn't want to go home. They wanted to stay at the supermarket. So it was a great program. And of course, when the money ran out, we had neighbors who continued to help us work on it, continued to work for free. The Presidential Standard Oil gave us donations because one of NCNW members worked for him. So he gave us donations to keep the program going. At one point during the early years, there was a woman in Berkeley, Dr. Favors, who worked for the city of Berkeley. And she decided to do a program with girls. Now this was during the time when schools were being integrated. So the program was called Home Learning Centers. NCNW is running the Home Learning Centers. Homes in the area where the children lived, didn't matter whether they were black or white, what color they were, met at one of the homes in the area every 4 days a week. And the homes were named after the members of NCNW. So I had my home, others, women had their homes, so we had to go to and see that everything was, kids had lunch, they had times when they played, they had times when they learned. They also had times to visit the homes of African-American doctors and teachers and lawyers, because the kids were not aware that we had people in that staff. So they enjoyed being there. And we had a library, an international library. We have some of the books now at level 56 downstairs. But it was a great program. And then the Black Family Reunion came to us. And so we decided to take some kids to Los Angeles to the Black Family Reunion. And you wouldn't believe it, some of these kids had never left West Oakland. We were staying at the Hilton Hotel. So in the room one day, several of us had different number of girls in our rooms. And we only heard the water running once. And the girls would go in and take baths. And we said, well, what are you doing? They were all taking baths in the same water. They were not used to bathtubs. So it was a great experience for them. And so we said, you don't need to do that. Let the water out. Everybody get fresh water in the tub. So they would have to do that. We were able to go to the UCLA cafeteria to eat. So it was a great program for all of us. And at one time when we went, our kids had become musicians, some of them. Some of them were there to teach them to play the drums and all that. So when we arrived in Southern California at the Black Family Reunion, they participated in the parade. And Dr. Hyde was so excited about that. Many of us who were women went to the meeting, and there was one meeting they were having that was just for Dr. Hyde's friends, they said, when we walked into the door. So I said, well, I'm Dr. Hyde's friend. And these people with me are also my friends. So let us all in. But we have had some great experiences with NCNW. The one that's in charge of the health program, what is that called? We have
Good health and
Good health and yes, that's when I met her. She reminded me when we started that program that she had met me in Los Angeles at the Black Family Reunion. We were just hoping that it could happen again.